Rallysport is known as one of the most difficult and most extreme forms of auto racing the world over. As the saying goes, most sports only take one ball, rally takes two. The sport itself takes street cars and throws them into the most mechanically taxing environments possible, such as dirt, sand, and snow. Only vehicles that can effectively blend reliability and speed are successful, and as a result, Rallysport has helped brands like Subaru become a household name. And it's not just the vehicles that need to be powerful. Rally drivers must maintain intense levels of focus when operating at any time of day under any weather conditions. They must stay in prime physical condition and must be able to think on their feet in stressful situations. Only the best cars and the best drivers achieve international fame, which opens new doors for continued success.
I've always had a passion for rally and for motorsports in general. I've attended and volunteered at countless events and have even spent some time working on a rally team myself. However, I've always wondered, what makes a powerful rally car? What makes a powerful driver? To answer this question, I spoke to a few professional rally drivers and their crews at the recent Empire State Performance Rally, and got their insight on the power of the vehicles and the power of fame. But first, I'm sure many of you in the audience aren't entirely sure of the basics of rally sport, both domestically and internationally. Here are some things that you should probably know.
As world-famous rally driver Colin McRae once said, "Straight roads are for fast cars, widening roads are for fast drivers." Rallysport is a division of auto racing that pushes cars and drivers to the extreme. Vehicles you might see driving on the street every day are stripped and fitted with a roll cage, then tossed out into a race and driven to their absolute limits. These cars and their drivers compete in what might be most accurately described as vehicular cross-country running. They complete a series of off-road and on-road point-to-point races or stages for time. The competitors are ranked by their fastest gross time on all the stages during a particular race. Each stage is a specific set of pace notes, distances between turns, potential obstacles, and recommended gear shifts that are read by the passenger in each rally car, the co-driver. As a team, the driver, co-driver, and rally car compete to win rallies and championships all over the world. Beyond the general gist of the sport, Rallysport has been the birthplace of many popular automobile brands since it became popular in the 1960s. The sport launched brands like Mini, Lancia, Audi, and Mitsubishi into new heights of fame. Perhaps the most profound of all these promotions is seen in the meteoric rise of Subaru, thanks to rally. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Subaru's Impreza dominated the rally scene, becoming world-renowned for its unwavering hardiness and powerful four-cylinder engine. It is still a staple of the sport today. Drivers have also been ushered into stardom through their exploits in the rally universe. In the modern era, talented drivers like Ken Block, Bucky Lasek, and Tanner Faust have gained cult followings and millions of dollars in sponsorship deals. Because of their status, these men have essentially had the power to shape the sport, as wannabe drivers and grassroots teams strive for the level of success attained by the pros. These two ideas demonstrate the vast ability Rallysport has to give people and companies immense marketing power. However, the power of PR in rally is not the only factor in play. Even perhaps more important than the drivers and the brand names when it comes to winning championships in rally is the mechanical aspect of the vehicles. What you might consider a fast or cool car under any other circumstances is not necessarily cut out for life on the stages. In order to understand what makes a vehicle powerful in rally sport, we must analyze some of its key mechanical features: the engine, the drivetrain, and the transmission. The engine is, naturally, the power plant of any vehicle, not just a rally car. An internal combustion engine functions by creating small explosions in metal tubes called cylinders. These detonations force a piston down into the cylinder, which in turn rotates a drive shaft that allows the wheels to turn. The entire process is dependent on the induction of air, the injection of fuel into the cylinder, and the explosion catalyst created by a spark plug. Engines, in their most basic form, become more powerful based on the number of cylinders they have. For example, a plain engine with a flat four-cylinder arrangement will generally make less horsepower than an engine with a V8 layout. However, in rally, more horsepower does not necessarily translate to better performance. In fact, small, compact engines like the i4 are often considered preferable to larger engines because of their efficiency and workability. The drivetrain of a rally car is what determines the ability of the vehicle to handle the all-weather conditions that are characteristic of rally sport. You may have heard the umbrella term of drivetrain split up into three groups: front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive. The differences between the three are fairly self-explanatory. In a front-wheel drive car, all of the power from the engine goes directly to the front wheels, and the rear wheels are simply dragged along. A rear-wheel drive directs this power to the rear wheels only. An all-wheel drive vehicle uses power to move all four wheels. Front-wheel drive cars are most often commuter cars or vans. Rear-wheel drive cars are usually exotics or sports cars, and all-wheel drive vehicles can range from SUVs to sports sedans. It goes without saying that any vehicle with an all-wheel drive drivetrain is going to do well in Rallysport. The usage of all four wheels means there's less slip when a sharp turn is being made, whereas in a front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive vehicle, one might find themselves spinning out of control. The final mechanical aspect that makes a powerful rally car is the transmission. In a car, a transmission is responsible for shifting gears. The act of shifting gears essentially allows the engine to run at a lower revolutions per minute rate, and thereby create more power without running the risk of exploding from stress. All vehicles have a transmission. The only differences between them are the gear ratios and the type of transmission, automatic or manual. The gear ratio of a transmission is essentially the RPM rate each gear of the transmission will allow before shifting is necessary. Cars with a low gear ratio shift between gears quickly, while cars with the opposite take longer to reach the rev limit of each gear. Race cars are often built with a short ratio for first gear and progressively longer ratios for each successive gear, so the car can get up to speed as fast as possible. The other piece of the difference between transmissions is the physical type. Automatic transmissions use computers to tell the car when to shift gears, while manual transmissions rely on the driver to change gears when the RPMs get too high. In rally, a race gear ratio and a manual transmission is preferable. Why? On winding rally stages with hard turns and long sweeping curves, a short gear ratio and the ability to manage what gear is running is imperative to maintaining total control over the vehicle. Without these things, as well as an all-wheel drive drivetrain and a compact engine, a car, and its driver, may find themselves in the tree line at a rally.
Now that we've learned some of the basics of rally, I think it's time that we hear it straight from the horse's mouth. I'm headed to the Empire State Performance Rally to talk to somebody that I worked under on a rally team, so he can give us a little bit more insight in what it means to have power in rally.
Good morning, everyone. It's about 7:15, and I'm on my way to Narrowsburg, New York for the Empire State Performance Rally, where we're hopefully going to interview some rally drivers and crew and figure out what they think about power in rally sport.
I'm the driver of Black Box Rally Team. So yeah, Black Box Rally Team, we started rallying in 2011, October 2011. Here was actually our first rally, International Rally New York. We finished first in our class and second overall in a stock production-based car. Our first full season of rallying, we finished first in the production all-wheel drive cup and second overall for the United States Rally Championship in 2012. So,
what to you is Rallysport?
Rallysport is a group of crazy guys that decided they wanted to do a performance race, a point A to point B race. Except instead of on a normal road, they decided this would be a great idea if we did it on gravel roads and roads covered in snow as fast as possible while trying to dodge trees and prevent the car from falling over a cliff.
What makes a rally car different than any other kind of race car?
So I think when you typically think of race cars, you think of, you know, the most power you can cram into the lightest car to be the fastest car on the road. I would say the big differentiator in a rally car is that it's not all about power. It's about being able to put the power on the ground, you know, and have as much traction as possible to get you going as quickly as possible. So, you know, even if you have 1,000 horsepower, if you can't get that 1,000 horsepower to the ground on these dirt roads while you're slipping and sliding all over the place, it's not very useful power.
What do you think makes any specific rally car more powerful or able to outcompete other cars in this class?
Yeah, so like I said in the past question, it's not about all right power. I feel there's a couple factors that really make a rally car fast, and you know, one is being able to put that power, you know, on the dirt, on the road. The second is all about the balance and handling of the cars.
Can you name a few famous rally drivers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up, and probably dating myself here, around the time with Tommy Mäkinen, Mitsubishi World Rally Championship driver, Colin McRae, another WRC driver. There's a couple more in the U.S. that are better well known, like Ken Block. In North America, there's Antoine Lesage. Really great drivers of our era.
What do you think makes them so successful?
So I'd say a couple of factors. One, they know the absolute limits of the car, so they can take the car up into that limit and not go above. So they're very well versed at being able to drive very quickly, but keep it on the road without breaking the car.
Do you think famous or better funded rally drivers have an advantage in the sport than do other drivers?
This is a really good and interesting question. So I'll say, as a grassroots team, I've noticed the more famous rally teams and rally drivers, sometimes the rules are a little bit more relaxed, especially if they get a penalty or something like that. Other things I've seen is actually rules kind of get added by a manufacturer-based team or something like that to the rule book.
Is it easy to become successful or famous in rally sport?
I think elsewhere around the world, the World Rally Championship and rally itself is a better well known. And in the U.S., I'd feel like it's a more kind of a grassroots kind of sport. So it's harder to get folks to come out and watch us try to dodge trees. When it's basically a 8-hour-long camping experience.
Would you consider the Black Box Rally team to be relatively well known or popular?
I would say we're not famous, but I would say kind of within the Northeast region, we've done a really good job of competing really well in all the events we've entered. I would say as we've entered these events, people have kind of noticed us. We also have obviously a very flashy car wrap, so that helps us kind of get recognized while we're on the stage as well.
So even with that kind of minimal level of recognition, do you think that you gain any sort of advantage?
I don't know. I wouldn't see us personally as really having an advantage per se in the sport. I mean, I think being well known is nice because it's really great to kind of see spectators come out in the sport. I always think of if I can promote the sport and kind of bring in one or two folks, and those folks bring in another one or two folks, it'll help kind of grow the sport nationally.
Alvin brings up a point that's imperative when discussing power in rally, that famous or rich drivers often find loopholes and exceptions in the sport that allow even further victories. This inherently keeps down more grassroots competitors and ensures that those in power stay in power. This is an issue that has plagued rally since the beginning and one that needs to be solved. Power in rally sport has many meanings. Firstly, in a literal sense, it refers to the mechanical and physical abilities of rally cars and their drivers to work effectively and win. Secondly, in a more figurative sense, successful rally drivers wield a high level of influence and power in the rally world, even to the extent of bending the rules in their favor. All in all, no matter how you slice it, rally is a sport where power is everything.